Diane is the director of CyberPatriot programs at Northrop Grumman, and also works on the technical side of the cybersecurity business of Northrop Grumman as well. So not just on CyberPatriot. Just get to the questions here. We're going to hear a little bit in a second about the Cybersecurity National Action Plan that President Obama announced just a little while ago. There's a lot of federal initiatives obviously going on in that space. What is going on at the state and at the local level? Because you all obviously see this from lots of teams coming up through every single state. What's being done there to sort of build the cybersecurity workforce and build this pipeline?
That's a great question. First, I want to thank everyone, really, for being here. In Northrop Grumman, we sponsor activities like this because we are absolutely passionate about the cyber workforce. And when we saw that huge gap of 1.5 million opportunities open where we can't fill them over the next 5 years, we decided to be part of the solution. So part of that was sponsoring CyberPatriot, but lots of engagement everywhere. I have the pleasure of working with Rodney on a regular basis on the NICE framework. So we appreciate the things that are done at the federal level to help set the stage with the National Action Plan and with the work of NICE in the framework, because I think those kinds of infrastructures kind of help inform and guide where we go as a nation. And it's very helpful to have that top level commitment. That's important. As I get involved at the state and local level, I'm on various state level committees for helping them develop their cyber infrastructure and their policies and their legislation and things like that. And that is interesting because every state or locality is going to do what they need to do for their citizens. So it will look a little different in each state as they're developing their frameworks for their infrastructure protection or for their citizen awareness programs or for their education and workforce development initiatives. So been very, very passionately involved in the Commonwealth of Virginia for a number of years in those areas. And with the state of California, I have a hard time giving up because that's where I graduated from college. Okay. So being involved at that level is very different. And then working at a more local level, every locality will implement things the way they see best. In Los Angeles at the Unified School District, for example, they are taking the CyberPatriot curriculum and they're tweaking it for their students, whatever makes sense. The camp programs, the CyberPatriot camp programs are just exploding. There's huge demand for that. And that really focuses on the middle school and high school children understanding what this is all about at a very basic level, but also a little bit more information about careers in cyber. So you just see a different implementation everywhere. Even at the collegiate level, for example, what's really neat to see in working with the National Cyber Watch Center, I'm on their National Visiting Committee, it's great to see universities and two-year colleges around the country not only adopting the certification for excellence in information assurance education, but they're all taking a little bit different flavor. So at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia, they have a Bachelor of Science in Cyber Engineering, which is an interdisciplinary engineering degree. Only one like it in the nation. Then you go other places like University of Maryland that has a different program that's cross-disciplinary for scholars. And so you just see a little bit different implementation. That just creates so much opportunity for our youth to go in a path that makes sense for them. If you're in cyber, you know, there's a lot of variety of jobs you can do in cyber. And the neat thing is our academic institutions are catching up and really offering a wonderful variety of programs now.
So if you can get into this in diverse ways, can we talk about diversity in the field as well, which is something we're going to cover and as part of the security culture section. And that's something that you talked about, LA Unified School District. Yes. I think they're here, right? Where are our guys? They're here, yep. So obviously you have a wide array of people that are trying to get in this space and you need a wide array of people. Can you talk about why that's important more than just sort of the tokenism of diversity for diversity's sake, exactly. Right? There's a real issue there getting different people into this space.
This is a career field where diversity isn't an afterthought. It's critical. If you have 1.5 million jobs open, you can't afford to leave out any portion of the potential workforce. And so you want to make sure You're lowering the barriers and making this easy access for children that are deciding that maybe this is the kind of career field for them. And that's why having so many different universities and colleges with a diverse set of programs is important. But when you're working on the very complex challenges in cyber, it really does take diverse experience and thought and academic background and just a different way that people approach problem solving. Because when you're trying to solve a complex problem, you're going to get a much more rich and informed solution if you have a diversity of talent and perspective working on that solution. So it's not just notional in cyber. If you go down to the CyberPatriot 8 National Finals competition downstairs and you look around, you will see diversity. And you will see these teams of children working very closely together, and they're all communicating, they're all collaborating on how to solve that problem. So it works. It works.
And why do you think do you think there is a trend toward more diversity in the CyberPatriot program and in general people coming into this field? And if so, why do you think that is?
I just think it's a field that, because there's so much variety, I mean, children can go into secure software development. They can go into secure architecture. They can go into operations like a security ops center. They can go into forensics. There are just so many different things that I think it just naturally is attracting children from lots of different backgrounds. Plus, it's so accessible. And intentionally, the registration fee for CyberPatriot is very, very low compared to other STEM kinds of competitions and engagements for children. And we do that because we want to get as much participation as possible. I mean, and it must be working, because we've grown by over 40 to 55% a year since we started.
Okay. Any audience questions? Anyone like to jump in here? Right there. We'll get a mic to you. Just one quick second. Okay. And just say who you are and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Curtis van der Berg. My company is System Integrity, and I was actually invited here by Perscolas, and I'm one of their cybersecurity instructors. My question is, how are you lowering the barriers for adults that are transitioning from other other careers into cybersecurity? Because the challenge has been folks they'll go out and get a certification, for example, and they have a hard time getting in the door if they don't have prior experience.
That's a great question, Chris. And it is absolutely true. We've been so focused on building that pipeline, and now with CyberPatriot starting at kindergarten, we really are looking at the pipeline. But for career changers and professionals, a lot of the work being done by organizations like the National Cyberwatch Center or Cyberwatch West is focused around the community colleges. And they're developing both transfer degree programs and terminal degree programs. So you can go for 2 years and build up a very nice skill set and be much more marketable. A lot of the enrollment now in the 2-year schools in the cyber arena aren't the traditional 18-year-olds. They really are career changers, second career, or they're military coming out veterans that are entering those programs. And so I think through things like that, we're getting a much better opportunity, lower barriers, easier access to build up a skill set. They also, through community colleges, are offering boot camps for getting different kinds of certification. So lots more opportunities available so everyone can get into this workforce.
Any other questions?
I do know as well, a lot of corporations like Northrop Grumman are moving away from those requirements for a hard and fast 4-year Bachelor of Science degree in engineering and hard sciences, and really looking at the fact that in cyber, sometimes not having a degree is not going to give you a worse skill set. It makes you just as valuable to the workforce. And so a lot of corporations are breaking down the traditional recruiting barriers. And there are a number of people in our corporate cybersecurity operations center without degrees, and they're phenomenal.
We have one last thought for me, and then we'll go. we have some folks in here who are parents of students. And could you give us one tip if you're looking at colleges, for example, to go to? How would you think about, you know, my son or daughter is looking at getting into this field and they're going on a 4-year university. How would you discriminate between different programs? How would we give them some
Good
tip to sort of sort that out?
Well, that's a great question. Every parent's going to know their child best, and a lot of it is, does your child seem to gravitate more towards things like software development or operations, or are they more strategic in terms of architecture, system solution development? They may not know that yet. You may not know that yet. But the universities out there offer so many different kinds of programs that I think you can align your choice best with these different types of university programs. A great place to look is the Collegiate Cyber Defense Competition, because what we're looking to do is have a continuum of education and competition from kindergarten through graduation from college, going from CyberPatriot to the Collegiate Cyber Defense Competition. The schools that participate in that competition and the ones that do exceptionally well are well invested in the infrastructure and the faculty engagement and the support for the students to do well in those teams. And it's really fun to watch. That's kind of a March Madness all itself. But watching them in those competitions. So those are top schools you may want to take a look at. But there are just phenomenal choices around the U.S. And some children are really looking at the 2-year approach with a transfer degree. There are amazing opportunities with articulation agreements from high school to community college to 4-year institutions. And they are really building up that academic thread to make it much easier for children to get all the way through on a cyber unique program.
Diane, thanks so much for taking the time.
My pleasure.
Take care.
Thank you very much.
Okay.